Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for checking in with us on this 50-state tour. As you know, we were visiting Cassie's family in Lafayette. Well, we had a full day in Lafayette, Louisiana. Cassie, tell everybody who we spent the morning with.
Okay, so we spent the morning with my friend Hart. He is a Lafayette character, I'll just say. He's involved in music, film, and art.
Swamp tours,
Swamp
boats.
tours, and all of that goodness.
So just to give you a picture, and you can go on my Facebook and check him out, but he has a voodoo stick, and on his voodoo stick today, he had a GoPro attached. He is definitely a character. Yeah.
Oh, he was also a sci-fi host for a show it was a paranormal show on sci-fi that he was a host for. So
Right.
That's another thing that he does or did.
Yeah, very well known in town.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy character.
Yes.
Very colorful, vibrant, lots of character, lots of craziness going on. And so we interviewed him, and we also interviewed some people that he knows, businesses he frequents, like the two women who have a third partner, and they pull their businesses together and put it under one roof to make that happen. And that's going to actually air in season 3. It was pretty cool. Chelsea, what'd you think of today?
It was awesome. I mean, there was a lot of, running around getting to see a lot of Lafayette, and it was pretty neat. I love the business. I love the coffee shop. The food was amazing. I'm loving Louisiana so far because it has not been a dull moment since we came across the border and saw the burning truck. It's been great. It's been fun, and your family is so awesome, and that was fun to stay at your house and stay in the, what do they call it?
The metal building.
The metal building.
And have an authentic Louisiana meal.
So good.
Cajun meal, which was, tell everybody what your mom made us.
She made shrimp jambalaya, crawfish etouffee, cornbread. We had a nice salad, and she had
Vegan carrot cake.
Vegan carrot cake, and I think that was it.
I think a bunch of fruit and things like that, but it was amazing, and it was so
good.
nice. And she gave us massages because she's a masseuse, and that was outrageous, especially after my mechanical bull injury.
Mm-hmm.
Really helped.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. And then she came along with us today and was our honorary crew member, which was awesome.
Yep.
So we left there though, and we are now currently sitting in an extremely well decorated, super cool, smelling like amazing pot roast and more home right now. And let me introduce you guys to our audience. We're talking to Robbie and Micah.
Hi.
Hi.
They're engaged, getting married October 22nd.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Have a fabulous honeymoon planned.
Yes.
Miami and Punta Cana.
Yes. Can't wait.
And Micah, you used to work with Cassie in a spa, right?
Yeah, we worked together at Spa Isabel on Magazine Street here in New Orleans. I probably worked with Cassie for close to 4 years, 4.5, somewhere around that time before she moved to Los Angeles and started doing what she does now. So she was the best receptionist we ever had.
So that's awesome. And you do hair, right? And
Yes, I'm still a stylist at Spa Isabel. Yeah, I've been doing hair. I just realized today that I've been licensed 10 years and I missed my anniversary. It was back in May. So I've been doing hair for 10 years now.
And it's a passion of yours, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Cassie says you take it super seriously and you're constantly going to different workshops and things like that, bettering your skills.
Oh yeah, you have to stay on top of everything, you know. Styles change, you know, trends change, and you don't want to become that obsolete hairdresser because, you know, there's one on every corner here in New Orleans, so it's like you got to stay on top of it.
What is your favorite part about doing hair?
Probably for me, you know, the technical side and the creative side is always really great, but like, you know, having that moment with somebody and like, you know, most of the time people go to get their hair done because they need, you know, that kind of like reassurance of their beauty or something like that, or they're going through something. So, it kind of doubles as a therapy session sometimes. So just being able to like brighten someone else's day, just doing what I love to do is really rewarding.
Have you had a good failure that you can tell us about?
Good failure.
A hair fail?
A hair fail? Like technically?
Yeah.
I
I mean, come on, we're all beginners at some point.
So the first haircut I ever attempted, this is so funny.
Oh,
My
I remember this story.
friend Mallory, who I went to high school with, we all kind of grew up together and moved out here together. So my friend Mallory, it was my first day of hair cutting in beauty school, and I was just like, well, and at this point I had never, cut any strands of hair. That we didn't touch a mannequin. We were textbook only at this point. And I get home and I'm like, oh, I can cut your hair, because she needed a trim. Well, she had like really curly hair like Cassie. And so I started pulling the hair down and cutting it, and then I would just be like, oh, it bounced back up a lot. And so I would just go and I'd pull the other side and it would bounce back up a lot. And Mallory had her hair like probably to her bra strap or a little bit lower than that. And so by the time I was done trying to even it out, which never really got accomplished,
Did
her hair was...
Did you know that you were trying? Did she know that you were trying to even it out?
I think she was just like, whatever, but each time I snipped it went up 2 inches, so she ended up with a short bob, and she was just really wanting a trim. So that was an epic fail, and we didn't speak for a good little while. She couldn't even look at me. So
Cassie, you should let your hair down and show them what you did to yours.
What do you mean?
When you cut your
Oh,
sides.
I'll show you. Yeah, I'll show you later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she kind of did
It's
that.
not terrible. It's not terrible.
I have my
but
shears.
I'm sure you're gonna be like, yeah.
I have my shears.
Yeah. I know we're all at the point where I know I need a haircut right now. We're more than halfway, and I'm like, oh, this isn't usually how long my hair is. But what would you say to people if their passion was to do hair? I always thought that I was going to do hair, and my mom was supposed to register me when I was in high school for the Vogue program. She was late on that, so I missed out on that. And then I did go to school for nails, but I just didn't do the other half. I was married and thought, I'll just do nails. But
That was the worst part.
The nails? That's funny, yeah, for you, I bet it was, because you love the hair part.
Right.
But I always wish that I had done it. So I know there's a million people out there right now who are saying, that sounds like so much fun, and I've always wanted to do that. What advice would you give them?
Take it slow, learn the basics, and before you get into it, really trust in yourself that it's what you love and you're gonna, exceed at this, because if you're just getting into it just to go through the motions of it, you probably won't succeed in it, because the technical side is only like so much. It's so much more about, like getting embracing with people, and, it's really more involved. So you have to love it, or, you might not make it.
Yeah, you need to love that and people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The thought for the three of us, I know we're all thinking the same. The thought of being able to spend time in a spa right now for us, like I can't even change my nail polish on my toes yet. Like none of us have painted fingernails right now. I mean, we are train wrecks, because here we are. This is state 33.
Yeah.
We left on May 6th. I don't even know what today's date is. You guys said that it's Wednesday. I didn't even know that.
June 29.
Okay, June 29th. So it's just a lot going on, but the thought of being in a spa, that's why the massage last night was like such a lifesaver. It came at the perfect time of the trip for us. That's awesome. So, Robbie.
Yes.
What do you do by day?
Well, by day, not too much, because I work at night. No, but I'm currently the bar manager at Bayona restaurant. It's 26 years old in the French Quarter of New Orleans. Susan Spicer is the chef owner. She's very world renowned. She was actually, one of the chefs that was on the forefront of the slow food movement in the United States, especially in New Orleans. Meaning, I don't know if you're familiar with the term slow food movement, but basically it's where things are just done very slowly and very meticulously with local ingredients, fresh ingredients, seasonal ingredients, made to order, when you come in the restaurant, you're going to be sitting there for a while, where everything is kind of hand prepared to order. You
Oh, I
know,
love
just
that.
enjoying the experience.
It
Not
kind of feels like the pot roast that Micah made.
it took all day.
It took all day.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then the fresh ingredients that you added to those
Yes.
and made that smorgasbord of
Yeah.
tacos
So just
and
really celebrating
toppings.
food, celebrating the experience of dining, not just going because you're hungry and you need a meal. You know, this is an experience.
Oh, I love that.
And so Bayona is a destination restaurant for sure. So being that is the way it is with me formulating my cocktails, I like to try to do the same things that Susan does with her food.
Right, because
you know,
your passion is cocktails. Like
yes.
and I know you wouldn't say that you're a studied mixologist per se, but you are a cocktail enthusiast for sure.
Yes. I run the bar there. I create all the signature cocktails. I feel like my palate is, you know, pretty refined, and I know balance in flavors and profiles and what works and what doesn't work. I just happen to think the word mixologist is a little pretentious, so I would never use that for me. But people definitely, you know, in the field use that, and it's totally okay. But it's just a comfort level thing, I guess. But so I'm always in search of, you know, like Susan, local spirits, which we have a good many of. The perfect, you know, balance with acid and sugar and flavors and more refined flavors, not these big punchy things that you would find on Bourbon Street. More of like finding obscure liqueurs and varieties of spirits from all over the world, you know, things that nobody has heard of, you know, too much.
So what's your favorite drink? Like what do you have a favorite one?
One of the drinks that's on my list right now.
Yeah,
That's my favorite.
either right now or just a drink that you've created that you love so much.
I just put a brand new one on my list yesterday, actually.
Okay.
So I'm pretty jazzed about it. It's a play on a gin gimlet, which I'm a gin drinker. So I love, you know, traditional gimlet is gin, lime, and sugar.
Now, which brand of gin do you prefer? Because remember, we were talking to you when we got here earlier about
Yes.
how we were at the Rieger distillery and we tried their gin.
It depends on what you're doing with the gin. If you
Okay.
want a mixed drink, then you want a London dry gin, like what we were talking about, Tanqueray, Bombay Sapphire, Beefeater, all those Boodles, very dry gins. Because then when you're mixing ingredients together, you want something strong to hold up to what it's being mixed with. If you want a gin martini, which is what I drink, you would want something a little more smoother, or I prefer something a little more smoother, like Miller's. It's also from England, but it's sent to Iceland, and it's mixed with Icelandic spring water, so it really is kind of a more milder, not so edgy gin. It's just a matter of it just depends on what you want to do with it. Anyway, so the drink I just put on my list, it's called Gimlet du Gimont. Basically, it translates into the gentleman's gimlet. It is a Rise gin, which is a local gin distilled with rice. Suze, I don't know if I've ever heard of Suze. It's a very, very classic French aperitif. It's made from gentian root, which adds a very earthy, bitter, kind of gnarly quality. And then I use Amaro Nonino. Amaro is an Italian, very herby, kind of rooty, digestive, dark in color. And then lime cordial. Lime cordial is basically like a lime simple syrup. So you still have the gin and the lime and the sugar element, but then you have these kind of French elements too, these obscure little bitter, rooty French elements.
Very
So
fancy.
it's just my take on a gin gimlet, basically. So that's what I'm talking about when I try to formulate my cocktails. I try to do what Susan does with her food and really celebrate cultures and different, obscure flavors and very nuanced, like developed nuance to my taste and flavors.
That's awesome. I love that. What would you say to people about experimenting on the mixology front?
Well, I would say just do what I did and just start throwing some stuff together and seeing what works and what doesn't work. It's all about trial and error. And once you've done it for a long enough time, you can kind of do it in your head. A lot of times I'll formulate my drinks in my head before I even try to do it physically. because then I can cut down half the time and half the waste of product that way, because I know usually what flavors work with what. But it only, only got there because I just played around. It just kind of.
I bet that was a lot of fun, though.
Oh yeah, and all of my coworkers liked it because they got to taste. Every time I was playing with something, they were my guinea pigs. So.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, and I'm sure you have plenty of people,
Oh yeah.
to test for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm right here.
And you're like, that's why I'm marrying him. How far are we right now from the French Quarter?
Less than a mile or about a mile. Yeah.
Usually I walk to work every day, and it takes me 25 minutes to walk.
Okay, cool. Chelsea has never been to the French Quarter, so we're really
Oh wow. Okay.
excited to show her that because, I don't think there's anything like it. It's like it, here in New Orleans, and it's similar to having to see Vegas, You have to see Vegas, you have to see New Orleans. I mean, you can't really explain them, and you can never over prepare people. It's never.
Mm-hmm.
It's always an understatement, no matter how it doesn't disappoint, right?
Yeah.
The hype, it doesn't disappoint.
Well, and two, I've worked in the French Quarter for 10 plus years, and by now I'm just so jaded by it that nothing surprises me. But then I always see tourists, and every day I see them doing the same thing and gawking and the look of surprise and disgust sometimes, and just happiness and just whatever. Yeah, it's intense.
It's intense, and we
Yeah.
love that because intensity is passion. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leave you now. And just so you know, our recorder right now is sitting in a giant bowl of beans in the center of the table. And it's super cool because, it's just one more fashion statement here at Micah and Robbie's. So thank you so much for stopping in. And thank you guys for being on today's show.
Thank you.
And I talk to you, 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 and we love, and we hate, and we demonstrate. We try to relate. This is my breakthrough. Whoa. Said now, this my breakthrough. Whoa. Oh man, this my breakthrough.